feel like Colin finally got his soundboard hooked up correctly, so now we can actually hear the music when it comes in. It's kind of nice.
It's very nice. It's just,
We'll
like
see
that.
though if it records correctly.
Yeah, we'll see if it recorded that way.
I mean, it's fine, whatever.
All right. Well, welcome to another episode of Stolen Droids podcast. We've got a special guest with us. He's a guest in any case.
Whoa!
Jason.
He's special to someone, I think.
What? Special to someone?
Trying to tell me I'm not special.
His mom thinks he's special.
Yeah, my mom thinks I'm special.
I think he's special, I guess.
Yeah.
So you've got two people out of 7 billion on the planet. So
Good
I guess
enough.
that's something.
That's all you need.
Jason, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, guys.
You are, of course, one of our featured players on the Let Us In.
I thought you
Podcast.
were saying favorite player on the Let Us In.
I mean,
Well, he is a fan favorite, from what I understand. Quite a few people really like Jason's performance on the Let Us In. So,
just guys are just too nice.
and by quite a few, I think I've heard like that there have been people that have said they liked it. I don't know how many, but we're going to say quite a few. So
A lot.
a lot.
We'll just go with that.
Out of the thousands of people that download it every week.
Millions.
Now, how do
Millions.
you walk down the street and even like buy groceries like a normal person anymore, man?
Wear a ski mask.
But it's a podcast. No one has seen his face. They
Yeah,
just
until
know his
now.
voice.
Until this video comes out, nobody knows what Jason looks like.
But
from
you'd
the Let
be
Us In.
surprised,
Now they
Mark.
know.
I just
Because
basically look like a
Donner,
robot.
once upon a time, was at a Weird Al Yankovic concert. And he was just sitting there talking.
I'm sorry, who?
I was going to ask that as well. Who?
Weird Al who? No, Weird Al who? I'm sorry. Did you say Yankovic? I think it's Yankovic.
It's fine, whatever. Whatever. It's okay.
Al Yankovic. Vic.
Yeah,
we'll have to-
it's
Weird
Yankovic.
Al.
It's
It's
not.
weird.
Oh,
Whatever.
I've always said
I
that.
usually just say Weird Al.
I've
to
always
avoid
said,
that.
I've
I've
said
Vic
Vic.
too. Maybe it's like our.
No, it's not Vitch.
Hey, can we
I don't
stop
know.
saying bitch? Because it sounds too close to something else. Now we're going to have to mark this explicit, and it's just going to be a problem.
We'll just,
No, that's
just bleep
only,
our voices.
That's only the other word, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So what happened with Zonner at this concert? You can follow your
Finish
story.
your
Colin. We're
tale.
sitting here waiting for the end of your story, and you're just going off in these weird directions.
Don't you even get me started. All right. Anyway, Donner, why don't you just tell it? It's fine. It's your story.
So,
You
anyways,
know where I'm going with it.
I was there at the concert, standing in line to get some food with my wife, and I think my kids were there as well. And all of a sudden, somebody came up and they recognized my voice, and it freaked my wife out. She was, she was pretty freaked out that people actually listened to the podcast and B knew who I was because CA. So yeah, it was kind of a cool moment, but yeah, it was kind of weird as well that
Yeah.
I had people who knew who I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets really interesting when I went back when I was on dating apps. I got a couple people that were like, "Wait, are you the guy from Idiot Box?" And I was just like, "The crap! Where are you people coming from?"
That's so
And
weird.
that's- And it was in that moment that Colin was like, I'm not interested. If they watch Idiot Box, I'm just not interested because I know our
Not
fans.
gonna work
They
out.
know too much.
Yeah, yeah.
Do some weird stuff on here. If they're into any of that, it might be bad.
And the thing is, we can tell you stories about stuff like that, like all night long, but that's not why we're here. So
Why are we here?
I don't know why, Jake.
I don't even know.
Why did we gather?
Who are
Why
you?
am I here?
I'm sorry. Am I going too slow for you, Zonner? I thought we had a nice organic conversation going, but no, Zonner's like, let's push ahead with the theme of the show.
It's been 5 minutes.
It wasn't that big a deal. And I was going to go back and talk about how Jason's much better looking than you would think because he doesn't look like a mouse at all and things like that. But no, Zonner's got to push ahead here. And that's why we call him the Podfather. Yeah, so we're talking today about Wonder Woman 1984, which may be the most divisive film that came out in December of 2020. I don't know.
Because
What
there
do you
was
guys
what,
think?
like 2 of them?
Yeah, and the other ones weren't as divisive, so this
yeah.
one was the most divisive. Yeah.
When did Tenet come out? Was that November?
Tenet came out a lot earlier. It was in the summer.
That was like August or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Was it?
It came out in theaters for a limited run in this late summer, and then I think it was like for streaming in December.
Yeah, it
Huh.
just
I
it
saw
just
it.
all feels like the same, Marley, because that's how 2020 was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
unlike 2021, right,
right.
Connor?
Yeah, we're still like this is 2020 part 2.
Pretty much a mirror image. It's fine.
Yeah.
Part 2.
So Wonder Woman 1984. You guys have all seen it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
That's good, 'cause this would be a really short episode.
Nope, I'm out.
Yes, this is why we brought Jason, is because
We're
he hasn't
actually
seen
supposed
it.
All right.
We
Well,
watched it together.
Colin was on
Christmas
thin ice
Day.
already after last week's episode, so he's not even gonna get a warning. He just says something like that, and he's just gone.
You don't even know. You don't
Put
even
us back
know
over
what was
there.
said last time.
Listen,
Here,
I know it wasn't good.
Not back.
Whoa, okay.
We're so on task tonight. We talked for like a half hour before this about everything else except Wonder Woman.
Yeah, you guys missed a great spoiler-filled discussion about WandaVision, which we didn't do on the air, so you're welcome.
But that
But-
will be in our series recap.
Yes.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, not that specific conversation.
Well,
but the spoilers
no,
will
but
be. Yeah,
we can try and recreate it. I took notes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because
took
then
notes.
you took notes. You were there for 2 seconds of that conversation.
I got my pencil.
Got it ready.
all right.
Okay.
Let's talk about Wonder Woman.
And my
1984.
paper.
Apparently, we're all so excited to talk about it tonight. 'Cause we're just like, yeah, let's jump right in. I love that we're recording late at night because I thought, oh, the kids will be in bed, and like they're not.
They're just
So
done.
It's
Yeah.
Friday night. Or maybe we're not supposed to say what day it is. What?
we can say it's Friday night. It's
You
fine.
just pulled back the curtain a little too far there, Marley.
Yeah. And as we learned earlier tonight, Connor doesn't like when we pull back the curtain too much. He'll just edit the whole thing out.
Honor's like, I'm done.
And
Good
I
day.
know that we're
Over
on a
on
different
December.
method when it comes out.
over.
All right. So I'm going to try this for the third time. So Wonder Woman 1984. What do you guys think overall about Wonder Woman 1984?
I didn't hate it,
I didn't like it.
but I didn't love it.
Did you guys rehearse that beforehand? Like, I didn't hate it. I didn't like it.
I think Jason didn't like it as much as I did, though. Like, I think he definitely has a lot more problems with it than I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Zonner?
I feel like it was a very big letdown considering how good Wonder Woman was,
My water.
but
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. It was okay. I will say this, had it ended differently, and we can talk about this when we get towards the ending. Had it ended differently, it could have really redeemed it in my mind. But yeah, it was okay. It was just okay. I think that DC is extremely proficient at churning out movies that are just okay. That's what they do. Marvel churns out movies that are
Awesome.
great, good to great. DC churns out movies that are, nah, they're okay. Yeah, go see it if you want. But I didn't hate it. There was a lot that I liked about it.
All right. Colin, what about you?
Yeah, I was kind of mad about it. I felt there were a lot of just random holes throughout the film. A lot of things just didn't spread evenly across. I felt like, and some character, like they did well on certain pieces of character development, and then other pieces I think they just kind of threw out and wasted.
All right. So overall, it seems like we're all kind of feeling it was just meh to not good at all. Jason hates it. He thought it was the worst
Hate it.
movie he's ever seen.
Yeah. I want every single minute of my life back that I lost.
Hey, we had fun watching it together on Christmas Day. We were cuddled on my couch enjoying the movie.
It's the best part.
Well, to be fair, when I'm cuddled up with my wife watching a movie, it's way better than when I'm watching it by myself, even if it's a bad movie. So
That is
Exactly.
true.
in all fairness, that makes it better for sure. Like the experience can still be fun and the movie can still be horrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So I think, first of all, I think that I don't know that it's fair to say that every Marvel movie has been good to great. I think there are some that are just okay and some that are horrible.
I
Thor:
would
The Dark
agree.
World, for example, is
Oh,
I don't
rough.
agree with you.
That's fine, Marley. You don't have to agree with me.
It's only
Just
because
don't
this is
speak
what I
for
can
all
do.
of us.
only because he has that one shirtless image.
Who, me? I don't have any. I took
Oh.
all of those off the internet. They're gone. That was a favor to the world. It wasn't like
That's a
I
favorite.
cared.
No, I liked all the extra Loki-ness in that movie because of how much people loved Loki from Avengers. They purposely put more of him in Thor: The Dark World because of that.
Yeah.
It was a fan service for sure.
Yeah, you're a big
I love-
Loki fan.
I mean, look,
Yeah.
there's Loki.
Hey, don't pick his nose. That's not nice.
I think you're right. And I just don't think it's a great movie. And I don't even know if it's a good movie, but I do love that the Russo brothers have now made it like a really important movie because of Endgame, because they go back to that point in his timeline. And so now you feel like you have to watch it because it ties in with Endgame more. But I think a couple of the Iron Man movies weren't great, or good.
Iron Man 3 just caused me all sorts of anger issues.
I know. I wasn't going to say which ones, Honor, because I knew it really upset you.
But we know which one
Not
it
the
is.
conversation we're in here.
Okay, we're
Well,
gonna have to
I-
do that.
I liked Iron Man 3 better than I liked Iron Man 2.
Well, yeah, but that's like anyway.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan.
Another discussion, another time.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll talk
another
about
podcast.
remote con
But
or something. I
I
don't know.
think that Wonder Woman 1984, I think what it suffered from the most is that we didn't have an opportunity to see it in the theater. I mean, maybe some people did because it was in theater, so you could go see it, but we didn't have the opportunity to see it in a packed theater and have that kind of collective experience. And I think with all of the Marvel movies, there's a lot of them that I think people really enjoy because they had that experience of seeing it in a packed theater. But really, if you take a step back, some of them aren't as good as we think they are sometimes. And I think Wonder Woman 84 would have been more enjoyable if it was, I went and saw it on opening night and it was a packed theater and everybody was excited about some of the stuff that happened in the movie.
I agree.
But okay, yes
Okay.
and no, because all of the other prior DC movies I've seen in a packed theater,
Okay.
and they still aren't great movies.
I
So
agree.
I don't know if that really, honestly, I don't think personally for me,
But
I don't think it really made a difference for Wonder Woman 84.
See, because I enjoyed like Shazam. I saw that in a theater, and I think that this was probably on the
That is
same level of quality as Shazam.
I think Shazam was better.
Shazam was hysterical. Zachary Levi is a gem.
So good.
He's a beautiful man.
Listen, the kid sitting next to us when we saw it, it wasn't that funny. We went
I
and
forgot
saw it
about him.
with
I did
movies that
see
make
it.
us.
I did
And
see-
Tracy, if you guys know Tracy's laugh, it's like loud and you can hear it in the theater and it stands out. And so he was laughing at some part and this kid sitting next to him was like, it wasn't that funny. And like, it was just a scathing.
It was
like,
a
remark.
rebuke.
Yeah, it was a rebuke on Tracy, a
Some
scathing
dumb
rebuke.
kids said that?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome. And Tracy was like, okay.
Okay, so maybe Tracy would have been better off watching that at home rather than in a theater. It sounds like.
Or maybe that kid should have just stayed home.
Yeah.
Stop being a little jerk.
Exactly.
What you did, you little jerk. I don't know. I just thought
to watch Wonder Woman in the theater, just in a private screening, which I actually was. It's $100. Like when we went with our family, like it's not a hey, we got money kind of thing.
Oh, private screening. Oh.
Well,
I mean, back in the day,
like the part,
that's what it was, though.
I feel like the part where we all felt like you were saying you've got money is when you said it's only $100, guys. Like it's not that big a deal. Like only $100.
It was
like
between like 10.
I'm complaining about when a movie ticket costs like $15, and my wife and I go together and it's like $30, and then you throw in popcorn and it's just $100, guys. It's no big deal.
It was literally $10 each.
That's actually really good because
before
pre-pandemic, reserving a whole theater did not cost $10 per person.
No. Okay, but anyways, I felt more immersed in it and connected a little better with it versus when I had watched it just on my TV at home on Christmas. But yeah, so it was, I don't know.
Yeah. So we would enjoy it more if, like Mr. Moneybags, we went and rented out a private theater to watch the movie. And maybe we would enjoy it more.
Testing a tick.
I love it.
So,
I honestly don't think I would have enjoyed it more because my biggest problem with the movie was honestly the acting. I have such a hard time with Kristen Wiig. I think she's hilarious. She's so funny. But just I cannot see her as a villain. Like I can't. And just like I see that funny like Kristen Wiig from like SNL, like and all the like the funny. Maybe it's because I watched SNL and saw a bunch of skits with her in it. But just I thought she did great, amazing at playing like the awkward, funny character before she turned into Cheetah. But like when she kind of got all like sassy and evil, it was just like it made me cringe a little bit.
Yeah.
You know? I would agree.
Yeah.
I'd agree. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Kristen Wiig. I think she is hilarious, super talented. But I don't see her as the bad guy. She's awesome as the awkward, nerdy scientist
from the
person. 80s. But as the human hybrid with the cat DNA, I mean,
see,
no.
It wasn't for me. It wasn't. The acting didn't bother me as much as the CGI cheetah did because it was like reminiscent of the crazy like recent Cats movie. I never saw it because I don't want to watch a train wreck of horror.
Does that mean we're going to get a Wonder Woman 84 butthole cut?
You know, because you said that, Jake, that somebody is now going to request it.
Zach isn't even here, and we're talking about buttholes.
There was a whole big thing about this with cats where supposedly but that was like that's been like everybody talked about release the Snyder cut, and so everybody was talking about releasing the cat's butthole cut.
I forgot about that, and now I have to remember that was actually a thing.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, the CGI cheetah part, like it was not good. I agree. Like it just wasn't good, and I don't know that there's much more that, and you could tell that it wasn't good because they put as little of it as possible in the movie.
Yes.
Not as little as possible because they could have put none of it in it, but like they put as little of it as possible because it just wasn't good and it didn't work. No. So I think you're right about that. And I think Kristen Wiig did okay. And I can see what you guys are saying. Like, she is very like lovable and funny, and it's hard to think of her as the villain. But I kind of thought she did pretty good. I didn't think it was awful.
Yeah, I thought she was much better acting than Maxwell Lord.
Than who?
Then Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal. He's so cute.
I put them on the same level for me. Like, I feel like his character, his evilness got rushed. It's just like so much was happening with him. It's just like, ugh, like what's going on here? You know?
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole nother like thing though, because I mean, if we're gonna talk about the plot of the movie, I felt like it went from like, if you're looking at the letters of the alphabet, you know, it went all of a sudden from A to like F, and you're like, wait, how did we get there? And then it went from like F to like S, and you're like, okay, wait, what? Like, we missed everything else that happened before all of this, and then all of a sudden the movie was over, and you're like, okay, but how did they didn't explain it? Like, and even all of the stuff that happened with Steve, like, I feel like that was also really just like kind of random, and all of a sudden, like, Diana was like, I have to let you go, and you're like, why? Well, but why? Like, you didn't really fully explain that, and all of a sudden it was just really sad, and she had to say goodbye and all that jazz, and you're just like, okay.
Well, and I think it was hinted a couple times in the movie as to why she had to let him go, and you know, even Steve had said during that time, like, you know, you have to renounce your wish in order to get your powers back, because it's you asked for one thing, and so it's taking away the thing that means the second most to you right now.
Yeah. I do think that there's something really weird about a stone that can grant any wish that you want, but can't just bring him back all the way, but has to bring him back in some other dude's body. And so then it leads to all sorts of weird moral questions about stuff going on. And like,
and I mean,
it's like a retarded monkey's paw.
There's some crazy like subreddits about it too, especially like about consent, right? Because obviously the guy that's his body didn't ask to, you know, be sexed up, but I don't know.
I just feel like wouldn't it have just
she's
I don't think he probably wouldn't have complained, but like it's just weird that like, why couldn't they could have avoided that whole conversation if it was just Steve was just back because she wished for him to be back, instead of being back in some guy's body. And that part was a little bit weird to me just in general.
Yeah.
Then we start getting into a whole DC zombies storyline. Blackest Night. He's popping up through the ground, and
so
yeah, that's what I was hoping. That was the direction I was hoping.
I would love that. It would have made it entertaining, that's for sure.
So with all of everything else that happened in the movie, you know, all the stuff with Pedro Pascal and Cheetah and everything, like, I almost wonder, like, if the whole thing with her wishing Steve back and then having Chris Pine show up and everything, like, was that even necessary? Like, do you think that really totally furthered the plot along? I mean, yeah, it helped Wonder Woman kind of find some more of her powers and stuff, but I don't know. I wonder if it was just kind of like a reason for them to get Chris Pine back on the screen. And you know what I mean? Like, it just kind of felt like it could have been taken out and everything else would have just been fine.
Yeah, well, and I think part of the question is, did they think that it would get the numbers that the first Wonder Woman did without having Chris Pine as the lead or second lead?
Right.
Yeah. And if that's the case and they didn't think that it would, then it shows that we still haven't figured out that you can have a strong female lead that's not reliant on any kind of male lead character. Like Gal Gadot can carry the show on her own. She doesn't need Chris Pine to be in the movie with her.
No, she doesn't.
But I also think like there was some, if the story had been, I think, connected a little bit better and it was more obvious what was going on, I think the Chris Pine part would have made more sense. Like, because that was what she desired. That was her one thing that she really wanted. And she had to overcome the power of the stone. She had to give that up freely. And so like, if that had been fleshed out a little bit better in the movie, I think his role would have made more sense. But I think the fact that there's so many people that are like, I don't get it, shows that it wasn't fleshed out as well as it should have been.
Yeah, I agree.
If that makes sense.
I think you bring up a good point though, Jake, where, you know, the fact that they're thinking that if they have to have Chris Pine there to be able to have a successful movie, you know, that really is telling, because Gal Gadot, she's great as Wonder Woman. I think she is like the one bright spot in this movie.
Oh, she's great.
Because of the fact that, I mean, her whole persona is just infectious. You know, you like watching her. You like her smile. You like seeing her do what she does as Wonder Woman, because it's just fun. You can tell that she's enjoying it, and that's fun to watch. I feel like I'm podcasting here with children.
maybe a little bit tonight.
And
for people that are,
I'm not complaining. Colin has been renamed as Colin the Butthole, and we have just Jake.
Me and Jake are going back and forth and changing each other's names.
Yes,
I noticed.
I have tried to not comment.
Because you called me the butthole guy. So now you gotta.
I have tried to not comment on it at all, but it has been pretty entertaining, and yeah,
it's been escalating throughout the night, and
yes,
and we've done a pretty good job of keeping a straight face through most of it, Colin.
I haven't.
Apparently,
Making faces. I'm not making faces at Zonner's comments. I'm making faces at the.
I feel really bad because Zonner was making a really good point, and we were laughing about Colin taking all the.
I should just boot you all.
We'll just boot ourselves right back.
But no, I feel like Gal Gadot, she's just fun to watch as Wonder Woman, and I think that's why. Now here I am, so lonely. I think that's why Wonder Woman, the first one, was so successful, because she was fun to watch as Wonder Woman. And yeah, the script and everything was good too, but she does that character so well. And the fact that they felt that they had to bring Steve Trevor back to further that story, I think really shows how weak the story was. It really was a glaring flaw, I think.
Well, and I don't know if anyone else is going to mention this, so I will. But I think also one of the great things about Wonder Woman in this role, especially like in the 80s, was her fashion. Like, she dressed so well, you know, and I think a lot of people really liked seeing that as well, because like Gal Gadot, like, she's a very attractive woman. I think we can all agree on that. I think so. She's one of my woman crushes. I'm not gonna lie.
Jason goes awkwardly silent.
But just to like see like kind of like her fun like 80s outfits and stuff. I mean, even Kristen Wiig, like I think they did really well on the costume front for everybody in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, it was just kind of a fun style.
Yeah.
And of course the costume montage when Steve Trevor first like comes on and he's, you know, changing all the different outfits till he finds his style. Like I thought that was really enjoyable as well.
Yeah.
I love fashion in movies and TV shows. Like that's definitely something I pay attention to.
It's totally true. I am not so fashionable, dude.
Oh, I just noticed.
There are some great moments too, like when she's taking him to the art museum and she's like, yeah, everything out here is a piece of art. Everything is an art installation. And so then he goes up to the garbage can and she's like, oh no, that's just a garbage can. He's like, oh, okay. And so there were some good moments and some funny moments in it. But yeah, I think there were a lot of ways that the movie just kind of fell short for a lot of people.
Yes.
So
yeah, there was also some just weird technical pieces that was kind of weird for me in like thought process. Like when they're going to get the plane, freaking Diana badges her way in. Like you already know who's entered the facility at that point. You know that even in the 80s, there's going to be security cameras in a place like this old school museum with these, hundreds of thousands of dollars of stuff. And then the plane that's supposed to be just, a museum piece was fully filled with fuel.
Wait, that's not how it works in a museum?
No. I know it's surprising, but no. And then he automatically knows how to use this new high-tech plane that's completely changed.
Listen, if you can fly a plane, you can fly a plane. It doesn't matter. They're all the same. It's like riding a bike.
I think they really are,
One has, 10 billion switches and another one does not.
No.
Yeah.
It's like a car. They all have a wheel. You turn them and you go.
Just go.
It's the same. It's the same.
So like a plane.
Flying a plane, driving a car. Really, actually, you can take this further and say if you can drive a car, you can probably fly a plane. No problem. Yeah. Just get in and fly it. It's fine.
It's really no different.
But if someone stole a plane, wouldn't you check the badge history to see who came into the facility?
Who's to say they didn't?
And what happened?
We don't know. It was off camera.
I know.
Deleted scenes.
But she's obviously not fired from her job because we know that.
Would you
You're going to make a Marvel short about it. It'll be fine.
Oh, he does not like that.
They'll bring the real Mandarin into that one.
But
you got to admit though, Colin, it was nice to see the invisible jet coming in.
It was nice.
And with that, I wanted to say too, like one part I actually really did enjoy about this movie, not only the fashion, but also the way that Diana finally got to like discover that she can do more with like her strength and her powers and everything. Like she figured out like I can make things invisible, like the invisible jet, like that's a very iconic Wonder Woman thing.
I didn't know she could do that. I thought she was just like she had strength and like could. I actually wasn't aware that she could fly until this.
Did you?
Yeah, and the other thing was like
her plane was invisible by itself.
She cast a spell on it, right?
No, he's asking if you thought that.
Oh,
in previous cartoons.
I thought somebody like engineered like an invisible
just had
plane.
like UPS in her head and was like, "Oh yeah, it's right here."
Yeah.
Well, and even like the whole flying.
What happened with the
that was really cool when she was up in the clouds and she kind of
lassoing the lightning.
Yeah, like that was amazing. I thought I actually really enjoyed that scene.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some cool stuff. Like there were some really cool scenes, and I agree. And then the special effects were awful on some parts, and that's kind of how this. And that kind of sums up this movie. There was some good stuff, and then there were other things that were just awful. And
which is why I didn't hate it.
Yeah. I felt really bad for Maxwell Lord's son, though.
Oh,
poor kid.
Oh yeah.
Just every turn, just like straight up disappointment from his dad, or being completely ignored and promised, all these other things, and then his son just wishes for like his father's happiness, like so sad.
Well, and I didn't think like I know a lot of people were kind of bugged by his character, Maxwell Lord. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I guess I wasn't as bothered. Like, yeah, there were some things and there were kind of some laughable moments there at the very end. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I didn't think that he was as bad as everyone else like says he was. And maybe that's just because I think Pedro Pascal is adorable. And I don't know.
Adorable or adorkable?
I felt the same way, Marley. I thought his character was fine. I didn't have a lot of the major issues that a lot of other people have had with his character. Like, he was really one-dimensional, but I think that's who he was. Like,
Yeah.
and I think that's okay. Like, his motive was he wanted the power and the success and the fame. That's what his motive was. Sometimes that's what bad guys' motives are. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have a lot of issues with his character. I do think that one of the weird things that they did with it was through his son and kind of rushed at the end, try to make him more sympathetic as a villain. And like, sometimes it's okay for the villain just to be a villain. And especially when you've got two different villains in the movie and you're already supposed to be kind of sympathetic to Cheetah and what she's going through and why she wants to be Cheetah. You don't have to have the other guy be sympathetic as well. But like, there's this drive now that all villains like have to have this backstory where you feel bad for them. Sometimes bad guys can just be bad guys, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. In fact, I almost like it better when they're just a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need that whole backstory. I think that's why Heath Ledger's Joker is such a good bad guy, because he's just a bad guy. That's it. There's no backstory. There's no any of that. He's just bad.
I mean, except how he got his scars.
Well, you know, and bad is good, you know, and that's okay.
I do think, speaking of the villains, one of the problems with Wonder Woman 84 is it falls under that, I think, classic mistake that some of these superhero movies do. It's the Batman Returns syndrome. So Batman was a really great movie, and it had one villain, and it was the Joker, and it was just Batman versus the Joker, and that was the story. Then you get Batman Returns, and you're shoehorning two villains in there with Catwoman and the Penguin, and it wasn't as horrible as when you get to Batman Forever, and you've got the Riddler and Two-Face, and then you get to Batman Returns, and you've got Mr. Freeze and Poison, and like,
Jim Carrey.
let's focus on one main bad guy and just develop that story between, you know, if it was just Wonder Woman versus Maxwell Lord or just Wonder Woman versus Cheetah, and you've got Cheetah's backstory and everything, I think it may have been a more solid movie and may have been more enjoyable.
Yeah, and I think that's a quick way to just burn out IPs too, right?
Yeah.
We've already seen so many villains already because of Suicide Squad, without it, and now going to be seeing Suicide Squad again. Like,
the Suicide Squad.
I'm so sorry. The Suicide Squad.
We are getting the polka dot guy, so that's, you know, that's important.
Yeah, that's very important.
I'm glad we're getting his backstory.
So excited for that. I just, DC needs to take a break and not make anything. I don't know until they can actually figure it out. And I am excited to see what happens with the Suicide Squad and see if the director actually can come through like he did on Guardians of the Galaxy. But that being said, who knows until we see it in a month, something like that.
Yeah. Also, you can watch that at home because it'll be on HBO Max at the same time that it comes out in theaters. So,
wait, we're talking about Suicide Squad?
Yeah,
the new Suicide Squad.
It already comes out?
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Oh
yeah. When DC Warner Bros drops like 10 movies in one day, that's part of the slotted for HBO Max.
I haven't seen the first one.
I don't know that you have to necessarily. I don't know.
Kind of thing. It's like a remake.
I don't know. I feel like it would.
I haven't seen it.
They'll probably poke fun at it, right?
Probably.
Like you kind of have to.
That's another one of those, like, obviously it could have been better, but like I think you need to at least see it once, kind of thing.
Just when it came out, I just heard like of how much of a letdown it was, and I was like, I don't want to risk watching this.
But Margot Robbie was fantastic.
Yes, the one bright spot in that was Margot Robbie. And she really, I mean, she nailed the character. It was great.
And Will Smith.
And Jared Leto. I mean, obviously, his Joker was.
Oh my gosh.
Jake.
Why you got to be that way? So speaking of killing villains,
I was going to change his name to Jared.
Yeah. I do that to you. You can't do that to me, Colin. You can't drop me out of the stream.
I'm
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
So bad.
How do you change other people's names?
You go down to the bottom left.
I went to see Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey or whatever they ended up naming that movie on opening night.
I saw that.
And I was literally the only one in the theater. It was ridiculous. And again, that was another exercise in mediocrity from DC.
That was pre-pandemic.
Colin, you may be onto something with the whole DC needs to just kind of they just kind of need to step back.
No, that's not a good one. That's not a good one.
I'm not even going to mention that. Not even going to call attention to that one. But I do want to say the one thing that I think could have saved all of the convoluted plot holes and everything within Wonder Woman 1984. And I think it would have been very interesting for a sequel. And that would have been if Wonder Woman had killed Maxwell Lord.
Ooh.
She did it in the comics back in 2005, leading up to the, what was it? Infinite Crisis, I think. He was mind controlling all the superheroes, controlling Superman and causing all sorts of havoc. And she got him in the lasso. And he said the only way he would stop is if she killed him. And so she snapped his neck. And oh, by the way, it was televised. And I thought, I got so excited thinking, well, this is televised. The only way he's going to stop is if she kills him. No, she talked him down. Mm-hmm. I was so disappointed in that. I thought, if she had snapped his neck, it would have been very controversial for one, but think of the potential that they could have had with future stories. I mean, that would have been so interesting what they could have done.
Well, and I think Zack Snyder kind of maybe even screwed up a moment like that because they got such bad backlash about just the dream sequence alone with Batman.
Oh, yeah.
That they may have not wanted to touch that, or they just wanted Wonder Woman to be that glimpse of hope, right?
Yeah,
clearly to be justified in killing this guy.
Well, and when Superman killed Zod as well, I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, Superman doesn't kill." Well, he's done it in the comics quite a few times. In fact, he did it to Zod.
Well, I don't know if I'd say quite a few times because he typically doesn't kill.
No, he has.
But I think that's where DC is struggling with how to depict their characters because, on the one hand, you've got Superman killing Zod, and there was a lot of backlash there. And I think that part of the problem was just the Zack Snyder take on Superman wasn't as well received as people wanted it to be, as Warner Brothers wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And then you've got Batman and Batman v Superman killing people and things like that. And Zack Snyder kind of saying, well, yeah, but that's what he would do. Except that Batman is like the one character where he doesn't kill. Like that isn't what he would do.
Oh, yeah. And he lost his mind when he found out in the comic that Wonder Woman had killed Max Lord.
Yeah. And see, the thing is Wonder Woman, that's never been an issue for her because she's an Amazon. She's a warrior.
Yeah.
Like that's part of being in wars, that you kill people. And I'm not saying she would just like kill anybody, but I'm saying it hasn't been as major an issue for her. And so Warner Brothers on film is having a harder time understanding their characters than I think Marvel has with their characters.
I agree.
So,
I would have loved that, though. I think that would have completely redeemed the movie in my mind. They could have, I mean, it could have been a complete crap fest up to that point. But if they had done that, that would have showed me that they had some courage and that they were going to take this in a direction that nobody anticipated.
yeah, it would have been
Oh.
interesting. Go ahead.
I have
Sorry.
another complaint about the show. Okay, so I feel like in like all the promos and everything, they really. Oh, Kitty, sorry, my cat is getting into stuff he's not supposed to. But I feel like with like all the promos and the trailers and just all the hype, they really, really oversold the golden armor. I feel like.
Yeah.
Because she puts it on and it looks amazing, of course, because it's Gal Gadot, and also just because it's really cool looking armor.
Yeah.
And the wings and everything. And I feel like Cheetah tore it up. Like, especially the wings part, like way too easily.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it like wasn't even effective anymore. Like she had like the cool like shield thing, you know, with like pulling the wings over her. And like that was really cool. But then like she obliterated it. And I feel like that it got destroyed way too easily and too quickly. And then all of a sudden her armor wasn't as good as, you know, we all thought it was going to be. I mean, it still looked awesome, but do you guys know what I mean?
Yeah. And then you feel like they just threw it in there for marketing and to make new toys for kids to buy.
Yeah.
When it's in like just that short a sequence, and then you feel like, okay, they just included this so that they could sell stuff.
And as part of their marketing, you make it seem like it's supposed to be like this almost kind of movement, right? Like no more, you know, skirt and just legs showing, right? It's, you know, it's about, you know, the character
Function,
not necessarily, an actual functionable suit that really wasn't functional at all, because, you know, hundreds of men versus one cheetah going at it. But also, why didn't Wonder Woman get electrocuted? Is she immune to electricity? When she was in the water with Cheetah?
Oh yeah.
Well, so and she might be because she's Zeus's daughter. So that might be part of it, right?
Yeah.
Because
But cats don't like water.
But if Cheetah's wish and the reason why she got her powers originally was that she got Wonder Woman's powers. So if Wonder Woman was immune to the electricity, then wouldn't Cheetah be immune to the electricity?
Yep.
These are questions that will never get answered.
No.
So there actually was one part of the movie I did like.
Okay,
And
the one
failed
part
to
that
talk
Jason
about it.
liked.
Perfect.
The beginning part when she was a little girl, when they did the little trial thing.
Oh, yeah.
that
Oh,
was
and
the
she
coolest part of
cheated?
the movie.
Yeah, little cheater Diana.
Yeah, little cheater Diana. But like, I thought that was the coolest part of the movie.
The
Like
race
all
itself.
the race and all the
Yeah.
other
Well, and
Amazons.
she
the
was
flags.
hauling it. She was beating those other girls up until then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I like that part too. It was really cool.
Mhm. And to be back on Themyscira, you know, like
Yeah.
it was kind of cool to see that.
Yes, I agree.
So overall, the movie was a mixed bag.
Yep.
And hopefully we can do better in the future with DC. Hopefully DC can get some kind of direction because at this point they're just a hot mess. But if you want good DC content, check out their animated films that are all on HBO Max right now, because most of them are pretty good. There are some that are also not great, but
Which ones have you really liked thus far, Jake?
I think my favorite one is Superman Red Sun, but that's also because that's one of my favorite graphic novels ever.
That is a good one.
If you don't know, it takes the premise of if Superman, instead of landing in a cornfield in Iowa or Kansas, not Iowa, Kansas, I know. If he had instead landed in Siberia, in Soviet Russia, and so then he's
that's cool.
a Soviet, and kind of what would happen if he had grown up in that kind of an atmosphere instead. So it brings up some interesting ideas and stories, and it's very complex and just really well done. I have enjoyed The Death of Superman and The Reign of the Supermen because that was very nostalgic for me to go back and relive that story, and it was done really well.
I agree.
So that's another one that I really like. But yeah, there's quite a few on there that are worth checking out. So if you want good DC content, that's where I would head and check out.
Have you watched Gotham by Gaslight yet?
I haven't watched that one yet. I did watch Batman Ninja, and that one was weird.
I've not heard of like any of these.
Well,
So-
HBO Max.
Yeah,
I do have HBO Max.
Yeah, you need to watch him.
Don't.
yeah. Go to your
I-
DC hub and in HBO Max, and you can find all of these on there. So they've been doing animated films like this since like 2009. The first one that they did was Superman Doomsday, which wasn't as good as The Death of Superman, but yeah,
they have that weird Joker one. Not Joker. It was a Batman one, wasn't it?
so there's like the old animated Batman movies like Mask of the Phantasm.
Well, no, wasn't
And-
there one that like came out like a couple years ago?
A rated R one.
Yeah,
Like the Killing Joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Killing Joke.
Yeah, that one. That's the one I'm thinking of. Is that on there?
I don't know if that one's on there or not, but I know that they've got some that are rated R. Like there's the Justice League Dark movies there's 2 of them on there and they're rated R.
I like the first Justice League Dark one. I haven't seen the second one, but the first one was really good.
Yeah. So, and the thing that's frustrating is you watch these movies and you're like, yeah, if they would just take these stories and tell them well in a film type setting, then they'd be okay. But instead they ruin things like Doomsday, for example, killing Superman, and just kind of smash it into Batman v Superman, and you don't build up Doomsday at all. You don't build up that story. It's just, anyway.
Yeah.
So
We agree.
Yeah, I think what they really need to do is stop having studio executives interfere so much and just let the filmmakers do their thing. But they've got to get filmmakers who understand the characters.
Yeah.
And not like Zack Snyder, who thinks that Batman would just go around killing everything he sees.
Yeah.
Because that ain't right. That just ain't right.
all right. Yeah, I agree. I'm going to change our little overlay up here to our new Utah Remote Con logo.
Ooh, fancy.
Woo! So Utah Remote Con is coming up. We have it will be in the middle of April. We'll have official dates coming out soon, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you missed Utah Remote Con in September, we're following it up with this. We're calling it Bigger, Better, Remoter. And we did that as a joke, thinking that we wouldn't still be that remote by the time this happened in April. But we are, so we're going to go with it. But this is going to be a lot of fun. We will be raising money for JDRF, which is Juvenile Diabetes Research Fund, which is a great cause to help find a cure for type 1 diabetes. Yeah, so that's coming up. We want to keep you guys posted on that, and we'll have more information as it gets closer, so everybody will want to pay attention for that. Right, Colin?
Yeah, everyone.
Everyone.
I'm excited.
We're gonna
I'm
have
way excited. It was a lot of fun.
gonna know what to do with them.
What's that?
We're gonna have so many panels, they won't know what to do with them.
Yeah, they will. Just come to them.
watch
That's what you have to do.
Watch
Yeah, just come to
all of them.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. So we're really excited about that. We've got a lot of people that came and did the first one that are excited to come back and participate in the second one. So it'll be a lot of fun. So keep your eyes posted or eyes peeled for more information. Eyes posted doesn't sound right because you don't want to post your eyes somewhere because you want to keep those in your head. Sonner. All right. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. You can follow us on all the social media places. I'll put that up here for you as well. You can find us at Stolen Droids on Facebook, Twitter.
Whoa, are those sock mids?
Huh?
Yeah,
So
the soft
social
meds.
Those
Ahmed.
are our social meds. Social meds.
I love those.
Social
Ahmeds.
meds. All right. Well, thanks for listening and watching, everybody. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Social meds, clearly.
Laughing right in the line.
This has been a Stolen Droids Media production.
Oh my goodness. Jealous of Cosby.